Hey guys, what is up? Just finished my workout today. I did arms and then a little bit of cardio. But I wanted to come to you guys and talk to you a little bit about cardio. So I am definitely on the steady state side of things. I'm on the sunny side of life as well. No, but somebody was DMing me and asking me about cardio. What do I do for my show? And I told them, I'm really... To me, it makes no logical sense to bring your heart rate up and then bring it down, and then bring it up, bring it down, bring it up, bring it down. I mean, it almost sounds like you're trying to achieve two things at once. So I think it makes more sense to do one thing, make the focus one thing, and just do that one thing as long as you can, which is to stay in the fat burning zone. Because if you're you're coming in and out of the fat burning zone, I mean, half the amount of, waste, you're wasting time. You say, well, it burns more calories. Yeah, but what type of calories? And if you ask any metabolic specialist, they'll tell you, you burn the most fat in zone 2. Now, some people genetically might be able to burn more fat in zone 3. But if you're sprinting, that's like zone 4, zone 5. Now, there's obviously some long-term health benefits to zone 5 training, I'm sure. But, we're all human beings here. It doesn't make any sense to say, well, some people should sprint, but some people shouldn't. Well, we're all human beings. We all have 23 chromosomes. We all are carbon-based life forms. We all have 7 liters of blood in our body. We all have 2 eyeballs, hopefully, and are bilaterally symmetrical. So I think we should all do the same type of cardio. I don't think that, people should just sprint because, well, it's what athletes do. I mean, look, there was a time where sports didn't exist before ancient Greece. And the only people that ran were to run away from bears and lions or to capture a deer and eat it. I mean, there was no need to run, and people were fine, and the human race has existed and proliferated since the beginning of time. I mean, I just don't think it's necessary to force somebody to do sprints just for the sake of fat loss. But I'm not even a big cardio guy to begin with. Most of the time, if I'm doing a mini cut or something, I won't do any cardio, just because I'm not really that serious about, burning every ounce of fat off my body. I just want to get a little bit leaner. But when you're doing a bodybuilding show, you are definitely concerned about getting down to maybe, if you're 4% body fat, that means you have about 6 to 8 pounds of fat on your entire body, most likely. If you're 200 pounds, that's 4% of 200 is 8 pounds. So, more than likely, no, I'm not going that way. More than likely, you're going to have very little fat. But of course, the way fat storage works is if you just don't eat fat, you don't store fat. It's that simple. So if you're eating mostly fats in your diet and you're not in a deficit, okay, you're going to store more fat. So keto doesn't do you any favors, except for the fact that fats are very satiating and it can keep you in a deficit longer. But even then, the studies are out. They say that high carb dieting actually is easier to adhere to longer than low carb. So I'm just not a low carb diet. I'm not a low carb zealot. I'd rather eat my potato chips and my cake and have it too, so yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about cardio. And honestly, cardio is highly adaptive. I've mentioned that on here before, but your body gets used to it very quickly. What used to burn 150 calories will now only burn 50 calories. And so you can't do it forever. You should not do cardio year round. If you're doing cardio year round, you're not being optimal. You're not doing it right. Your body's going to adapt to it, and eventually you're going to be taking away from the anabolic effect. Here's another myth. people say, well, cardio kills your gains. You'll lose muscle if you're doing cardio. Cardio is like dieting. It will only kill your gains in the sense that if your deficit is great enough to lose more than 1% of your body weight, then yes, you will burn muscle. If you weigh 180 pounds and you lose 3 pounds in 1 week, it is physically impossible to not lose muscle. I don't care how much protein you eat. You could eat 300 grams of protein. Unless you're on gear. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe for all the gear users, they can get away with it. But generally speaking, for the average person, you should not lose more than 1% of your body weight. So if doing cardio gets you in a 1,000 calorie deficit, where you're losing 2 pounds in a week and you only weigh 150 pounds, that's too much. You're going to lose muscle. Okay? So it's very simple. I use simple principles and they never change. They never change. I've been using the same principles for the past 9 years. And so that's how I coach people. I don't coach people off of emotion. I use my interpretation of data with human clinical control trials, and what I know what works. I mean, you can have a lot of textbook knowledge, but you need a little bit of bro science in there too, because like knowing what your body does 3 weeks out from a show based off of certain carbs, you're not going to find that out on paper. You're going to wake up in the morning and see the results. So yeah, what else about cardio? Obviously, the starvation mode is a myth. You actually want to starve your body if you're trying to burn fat, but you're starving the fat cells in your body and you're feeding the muscle cells in your body by eating a high protein diet that is low in calories. Okay? So low in calories means you won't store fat. And when it comes to storing fat, they did a study, 2% of adipose tissue came from carbohydrates. The other 98% is coming from dietary fats, you guys. So like, you're telling me that if I just lower my fats, I'll lose weight? Pretty much. If the average American is eating fast food, not meal prepping, not counting their calories, and eating on average 3,500 calories a day, and not really exercising, you understand that maybe like 60% of Americans exercise, and out of those 60%, maybe like 20 of them actually do resistance training. I mean, we're talking, again, it's not like one thing that you have to do to get out of a plateau or lose weight or burn fat. There's like 10 or 12 different things you have to do all at the same time to make it work just right. You have to sleep right. Sleep enough, 8 to 9 hours of sleep. You have to recover. You can't train, the same muscle twice within 72 hours, pretty much. I mean, go ahead and try it. Try hitting chest back to back, heavy each day. You could maybe rest one day and hop back on the next day, but usually it takes 48 hours to 72 hours to fully recover a muscle group, okay? Granted, you're doing about 8 to 10, 8 to 10 to 20 sets, whatever. 10 is considered lower volume, 20 is considered higher volume, depending if you're going twice a week with a muscle group or once a week with a muscle group. But they're both good. I tell you all the things I don't focus on. I don't focus on high endurance training. I don't focus on cardio. I don't focus on flexibility and mobility, although those are important. I focus on mastering every resistance movement imaginable in the gym with weight. There's an old saying, strength fixes everything. If you get stronger, you will increase your metabolism because you'll have more muscle mass. You will build more muscle. You will have better range of motion. You will have more control. You will look better. You will fit better in your clothes. You will sleep better, okay? You will sleep better if you're lifting heavier. This is just a fact. If you've ever done a powerlifting program, I sleep like a rock. I'll sleep like 11 hours in a day after deadlifts. There's just so many benefits. There's, strength fixes everything. And you will never get too big and bulky, you know. Even if you're an IFBB pro bodybuilder and you're taking gear, you're still probably not satisfied with the way you look. You know, you'll never get too big. It's a trophy. Your muscle mass is a trophy. It is evidence of hard work. And it will always look better on you than it will look on someone else. And you will always be proud of your own work. That's just the way this thing works, man. You want to stay motivated. Trust me, you want gains to stay motivated. Which is going to get you more motivated? Having more gains or less gains? That's really what I want to know. Yeah. So everything I do as far as improving health is muscle maintenance, muscle oriented, preserving, you know, massage, you know, for the muscles, eating protein for the muscles, lifting weights for the muscles. All right, broski. You know, it's like everything you do, is it just because it's bodybuilding? Is it bodybuilding? Do I have to become a bodybuilder? No. Just literally develop your body. That's all you got to do, and just stay healthy and strong. You know, I never really was exposed to powerlifting when I was younger. I didn't even know what it was. If I would have been exposed to it, I probably would have, I don't know, just learned proper form earlier. But the first thing that I was really exposed to was bodybuilding in the area of fitness. I mean, CrossFit was sort of a thing, but you had bodybuilding.com. How many of you out there were big bodybuilding.com fans before Instagram? You know, I mean, they had Body Space. You know, they had all those Body Space profiles. I used to do that, track my progress. It was great. It was like a little community. This was before Instagram, you guys. And I mean, I'm talking to millennials and Gen Xers right now. So, but anyway, I think that all this might be common sense. I'm gonna see if I can debunk a few more myths, and then I'll let you go. I will say, you know, one of the benefits of jumping on a diet, like for somebody who's never properly dieted, never actually increased their protein and lowered their calories, they think, oh, sugar is gonna ruin me. Well, by the time you actually implement, you know, almost a gram of protein per pound of body weight for like 3 weeks in a row, you're gonna have so much protein in your body, you will not want any sugar. You won't even crave it. Why? Because your blood sugar will thank you at that point. Your blood sugar will be so stable, it will be so flatlined, because you're feeding your body every 2 to 3 hours, you know, 25 to 30 grams of protein. And, you know, people say all the time, well, you know, you can speed up your metabolism if you just eat, you know, 5 meals a day. Well, that's only true if you're eating like 30 grams of protein for 5 meals a day. If you're living off of, you know, bread and potato chips and, you know, a bunch of carbs and fats, it's not going to work for you, because you're not going to get the same thermogenic effect. You need thermogenesis by the ingestion of protein, my bro. So, you know, protein's 30% thermogenic, and I sound like a broken record because I talk about the thermogenic effect of protein all the time, but honestly, it is the biggest factor when it comes to your metabolism. It is almost more important how much protein you eat than how much muscle you have. I would rather take a muscle-bound freakazoid, or I'm sorry, I'd rather take an average person who's never lifted but is now increasing their protein versus a muscle-bound freakazoid that has a ton of muscle that doesn't eat any protein. Does that make sense? I can do more with the person who's eating the right amount of protein, because like they say, nutrition is 80% of it. And it doesn't matter where you were, it only matters where you're going. You know, like when people step on the scale, I don't say, oh, that's a horrible number. Like, no, I don't care what the number says. I only care which direction it's going, you know? And so if you could just make a little pivot once a week and be like, oh, I'm going this direction. Not that you have to obsess over it or get psychologically, anxiety about it, but just make a pivot. That's all you got to do. Lower your calories if you need to. That's the hardest part of coaching yourself, is lowering your own calories, because you know that this week was hard, and it's gonna be even harder next week if you lower your calories anymore, and you don't want to go through that again times 3. So it takes discipline, but it also takes a logical mind to tell you, okay, if I need to lose this amount of weight, I need to reduce my calories by this much. It is a necessary evil that will in the end make you healthier. It is kind of a paradox that you have to break down your body in order to get healthier. Obviously overtraining while you're dieting is not healthy, but you still need to train hard enough to build muscle. Training hard enough to build muscle will make you sore. If I train somebody 3 times a week and they're not sore, they're probably not going to build any muscle. Okay? If I train somebody and they are sore 3 times a week, I guarantee you they went up in muscle mass. So just think about these things, guys. This is just experience talking. But I really appreciate you watching this channel. I'll be sure to have more nutrition content coming your way. Summertime is a little tricky with nutrition because most people are kind of like over it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about it. But now that people are getting back into work routine, school routine, it's good to get back on track. Start meal prepping. Get back to the workout program. Remember, you're not just working out, you're training your body. All right, this has been Evan with Evan's Cardio Rants. Over and out.